Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. I hope everyone's doing good. I was almost late. I was getting caught up in my incense box. You know, I thought that I thought I was lighting something like that. I thought it was Moldavite, but it wasn't Moldavite. It was some weird, it was weird. I don't know where I got them from. It's like Heco, Mexico. I don't know where I got them from, but I saw the tips of them and I was like, oh, these look weird, almost like somebody's hands. Like just weird energy. And I said, but then I kept lighting it and lighting it, and it wasn't lighting, or so it didn't seem to light. So I started to light all the different ends of it. And then when I finally looked, it finally started to light. But it's like tiny, just tiny, like doesn't smell like anything, first of all. But what I learned from that, it was like Spirit was telling me a message. And that sometimes, we think that people should be done with their process. We think that we should have accomplished something a lot sooner than we did. We should be further in life than where we are, that things should happen quicker. Because everything that happens in the physical realm happens in the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is of the mind and it's emotional, right? It's energetic. So it happens really fast. But grounding, oh, it takes a long time. And people going through and finding their own unique process. Oh my God, it takes such a long time. Like the process, especially if you're staring at it. So Spirit was like, that incense was lighting. I was saying it's not lighting. I said, this shit's not lighting. I kept lighting it, lighting it. And I started to light it from all different angles. And the moral to the story is that I was getting impatient, and then I tried to do it my way, which would make me feel comfortable, right? Where Spirit says, you see how you just controlled that whole thing, and now you ruin the incense stick. It's not lighting at all because you had to light it from all different angles, and when you don't know what you're doing, kind of like a spiritual block, like, right, when we're in a relationship and we try and fix something and it seems to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I feel like you're connected to someone that doesn't do anything because they're afraid of that energy going that way. It's like an overstimulation where you may say, well, I'm taking matters into my own hands, and want to become very emotional. And that's when you sabotage whatever the situation is. We'll see whether or not that plays out into the reading. I mean, I don't know. Spirit speaks to us in very mysterious ways, right? Through everyone and everything all the time. You're always having a relationship with God because God is the universe, it's ubiquitous. We can feel it within other people when we find our soul's tribe. Well, we can feel it when we're in the flow of the universe, then we're living our bliss. It's not a logical or analytical thing, it's more of a clairsentient, claircognizance thing. And we're in our creative energy. However, when we are spiritually blocked, we're in a lower consciousness, and there's fear. And when there's fear, there's a need to do something. And that's what Spirit was kind of showing me, that little analogy there. Is that I don't know whether that's true or not, or whether it'll play out. I'm just a conduit for Spirit to speak. So I never know during readings whether I'm accurate or not. It's a very weird thing. I'm surprised, like it's like detached, and it's detached but able to feel and receive information from your gut. This is what claircognizance and clairsentience is all about. And empaths have that energy. They're sensitives, and I think we're all born with that energy. It's that society grows us away from that. And the key is try to get back to that. Hey, Shelly and Siska. And I don't even know how to pronounce your name, Greek person. I'll call you Greek person. It looks like Greek words. So All right. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you know what you got to do. You got to like the video. You got to subscribe to the channel. You got to write the word in the video in your comment bar. Now, on this channel, I like to dive deep within the readings. So we look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play it as karmic themes. Yes, we do look and see like what they're going to do. But a lot of times you wouldn't understand why they were doing what they were doing. And that's why we look at the other elements. And you might say, well, who cares? Well, actually, seeing your situation from a different perception is very healing, because a lot of times, whatever your person is doing or not doing is triggering you, and that is awakening a wound. And understand, if you're connected to somebody, it means you are connected to them. You can say, well, I feel their energy. It doesn't matter. You wouldn't feel their energy if you weren't open to them. There's a part of you that, again, needs to learn something. That's what the karmic tie is, that karmic cord. And until you learn the spiritual lesson and integrate it, you don't see a different version of yourself. So you don't raise your vibration. So people being like, oh, I'm going to say a bunch of affirmations and it's going to raise my vibration. That's not going to do it. It's the full embodiment. If you say the affirmations, you're more likely to take the action. However, your intention, your energy will be in alignment with that energy, which is important. I'm not saying it's not, but people tend to think that they learn the spiritual lesson just by learning it, meaning in the mind, where we're in physical form to learn. We have to ground, we have to integrate, we have to transmute that energy. Otherwise, the energy still remains. Negative energy can't be released, it has to be integrated. We're alchemists, and the alchemist is understanding how to turn your pain into power. This is what shadow healing is all about. Because if you're walking around saying, the broken parts of me, then like, what is that energy really supposed to be? That energy is actually very draining. It's going to make you tired. It's going to create sickness. It's because you'll be out of alignment with the laws of God, the laws of love, the laws of nature, and the laws of the universe, which are all the same thing. And that's because you have the universe inside of you. So you, again, there's no separation from you, the universe, God, even that higher consciousness. The divine consciousness is inside of us, the higher self. Yes, there is an ego part of self, but a lot of times that ego has built walls up and sees things from distorted ways. We form habits and behaviorisms based on those shadows. So this is not just about, again, what they're going to do. It's more or less like why they do what they do and what's the whole point to you, and how to integrate the spiritual lesson. Because a lot of times when you change, all the time when you change, you're going to change the person that you're connected to automatically. So either they're going to rise up, or they're just going to be like, I don't want to do all that work, and they're going to go again for lower hanging fruit. But either way, you will then be the right energy vibration to call into your life what you want to, because you've done something different. You see yourself differently. And that's really what it's all about. Is otherwise we tend to not understand why we keep creating the same realities. So the word of the video is nervousness. And when I tap in, I feel like two things simultaneously. The nervousness is you're connected to someone that's like, oh, they back themselves into a corner. I feel like they don't really know how to come back without humbling themselves. This person is not somebody that ever humbles themselves. They never apologize. They tend to be very arrogant. They tend to, think who they are, especially with you. And I think because you make them nervous, that's part of it. It's like they want to seem strong. They want to seem so strong that you can't emotionally manipulate them, that you can't affect them. And so they actually shut down, but it's really because they're nervous. They don't want anyone to get really that close, which is always a block that the person has within inside of themselves. Like they're not comfortable with the aspects of themselves. They've also had, abandonment issues and other issues that, have made them also shut down, obviously. So they're taking a lot of their baggage and putting it onto you. And but it's also the nervousness of you getting more control over them, so that, being vulnerable, you're not really going to see. Being transparent, you're really not going to see. um Creating those walls. And then for you, you're like, well, every time we get close, I feel like then this person just gets in their own way. They self-sabotage, they do something, they purposely do something. And then it's like, and I don't understand why I have this connection. That's really like, I don't understand why I have this connection, and why this person is always, every time, like it could work out, it's like this person doesn't. Yeah, because they have avoidance. And a lot of times it's not just because I want to be a player. Yes, the manifestation a lot of times is that the person is, you're going to see them being a cheater, being someone that it runs around with it and gets energy from a lot of people, even if it's not physically cheating, it's emotionally cheating. And it's because they're not filling up their own cup. They feel inadequate. People that feel inadequate do that. People that, again, are not coming from that their true self. So obviously, having feelings for you, that makes them feel vulnerable, and they also don't want you to like see that aspect of themselves, in so many words or less. And you're like, and I don't trust you anymore. Because again, every time we get close, you self-sabotage the connection. So it's like, I don't even know what the whole point of this connection. Like, you'll only let it go so far, is what I'm feeling. So it won't be like you date the person once. They'll like, everything will be fine for a while, and then all of a sudden this person does something. And then you're like, okay, which makes you which makes you not trust them. And then you feel like manipulated, because you're like, okay, because you're like, what I want. I was clear about what I wanted. I set boundaries. I do respect myself. I am aware. But you know that I wouldn't be with you on under the circumstances that you want. So what you try to do is you try to get me to give you, like, to lower my boundary, to lower my expectations, to lessen myself, because you don't want to rise up. You want to be comfortable. And then it's a way just so that that you're like, we're going to run around, you're going to cheat. Again, that's really what this is about a person that doesn't want to commit. And this is what, you're like, you don't want to commit to me because you want to be free, so that you can't say that we were anything, but you don't really want me to go anywhere either. So it's that type of manipulation. And then, this person will act like you're the problem in the connection, because you're setting standards, you're setting boundaries, where you're like, okay, like, not that I'm going to sit here and blame anyone, but I'm going to blame you for not, for the relationship not working out. Like, you got tired of taking all the blame, when really it's this person that doesn't want to take responsibility for, like, anything in their lives. They want to just leave everything, like, very vague. They're like very, really coy. Like, oh, I don't know what you mean, when really it's like they know damn well what it is that mean, because you set a certain standard. They don't want to follow that standard. And so it's, again, but they're going to say that it's you. And they're going to say it, well, like the way that you pointed out. So they might say the way that you said it. They'll make it all about the way that you said it, or when you decided to say it, or how you decided to say it, the tone. Again, everything except for, I'm taking responsibility of what I did. And it's a way of them being like, well, I see how much I have you on the hook because it bothers you. And you are trying to explain to me, and I already know what I do. So yeah, I'm going to listen to you talk, but I'm not going to do anything. And that's what it feels like. And so there's a sense of, like, manipulation. That's what the gaslighting is. And after a while, that it makes you feel bad. And then they again make it like, oh, you're judging me. You're judging me. They have like a real hard time with anyone judging them, though they don't do things that, are of high moral, or, this person does what they want to do when they want to do it. They want to keep it vague. So it's like, I want to keep my options open. I don't really know what I want. However, I don't want you to really keep your options open, because if I did, I would be transparent. I don't want to be transparent. It's like, yeah, well, play the game, because you're going to sit with me and you're going to say, you want to talk to me, that we need to talk. And we may waste an entire night or two having to talk about your bullshit. And I'm going to be like, okay. But I'm just going to do what I want, because you just wasted all that energy on me, which tells me you're not going anywhere, that you're invested. And that's really what the issue is. When you're like, why does this person do it? And it's almost it's not because this person doesn't have feelings for you. It's, I want to have my cake and eat it too. And I feel like I can pretty much get what I want. It's just a manipulative way. And you called their bluff. And that's really what it is. It's like, you're like, I see your manipulation. I see how, you're making it impossible for me to try and set boundaries that I feel comfortable with. You don't want to follow the way that I need to be respected. And because of that, you're like, you give it the day, you listen to me, you might even buy me lunch, whatever, but it doesn't mean anything to you. And it doesn't mean anything to you because on some level I thought, and this is you, Scorpio, I thought when I met you, like, I never dealt with somebody that did that. First of all, I felt the connection. I trusted you. And that's really what it is. I trusted you. I wasn't looking for you to be manipulative. I didn't think that you had that in you. I didn't think that you could do that to me, is really like where the betrayal comes into play. But once you detached, and that's what you did, because this person's like, oh, you're not really going to go anywhere, because you gave it that time. This person took your kindness for weakness. That's really what it is. And they're used to people, again, reacting, giving a lot more time, fighting to be in the connection. And that's really what it is. I'm going to to do that. And you got tired of the person's abuse. And this person needs to really like heal their inner child. That's really what it is. And if they have children, they might hide behind their children. You know what I mean? Like, where this person doesn't have enough of their own identity. If this person doesn't want you to get close to them, then there's aspects of their life that they don't want you to see. And part of that is, like you said, if they're that manipulative and they're coming from a real low state consciousness, it doesn't mean that they don't have a job. But what it means is that their entertainment might be talking to a lot of different people, drinking too much, drugging, whatever it is that they know that you wouldn't approve of. So again, they're not looking to change. So what they're looking to do is, I want to have it my way. So it's a very selfish, like you said, way. And I say that because it's abuse. It's because a person is psychologically and emotionally like trying to manipulate you. So it isn't love. No, it's more like to this person it's love, but they're in balance. So it's more ownership. It's more dominance, which will make you feel crazy. So again, like you say something to this person and they twist it around and they act like you're lashing out at them, and where really I feel like when you say something to this person can either act emotional, and they might not act emotional where they're yelling and screaming, but that they got triggered and they're acting from their emotion, and they do something malicious to try and hurt you. And that's how you know that that's like more of somebody that again is what did we say? It's dominant. It's like you're gonna like be pushed into submission, which is you're not allowed to even share your opinion. You're not even like it doesn't matter. So all this, the person is like, yeah, okay, so you're talking, you're like just bitching, but it's like they're not looking at you as a person, is what I'm getting at. And in their mind, they may think, no, I love you, but it's again, then they're confusing lust and passion for love. Where again, the person's reckless. They're being thoughtful. They take a lot of different risks, which means that they're not thinking about you, they're not thinking about themselves, they're not thinking about their future. They're just again doing what they want to do, how they want it. The ironic thing is that the person's not emotionally intelligent, however, they're living from their emotions, and they're imbalanced. So it's again, they're going to live more from their addictions. They're going to be living. So that's why they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held accountable because I know I have this part of myself and understand, a lot of like you'll see many times with a real masculine energy that has wounds, well, the spiritual like lesson that they have to conquer really is passion, is they have to like get it under control with the passion. And women have to master their emotions. If it's too much of an imbalance within the yin energy, the feminine energy, it's that. So this person, what we see is that they have an overabundance worth of yang energy, and they're going to come in and they're going to deliberately trigger you to like make it all about that, when meanwhile they want to be reckless, but they don't want you to go anywhere. It's like you make it like feel like home. You're making home like it's like a double identity, you know? And it's like what you know is when this person's in your life because their life is what it is. They're a troublemaker. Because they create problems, drama, unnecessary drama. Again, but because that's automatically like I'm going to come into this connection and not really be transparent, do what I want to do, manipulate you to get what I want, make you fall in love with me, but really not be 100% invested, because it's how much energy you give. It's how much time, energy, focus, money that you give a person will be, the whole. And this person likes to play games. They don't want to make you feel safe, really emotionally. And the reason why is because they live this double life. And so now that they're gone, what are they doing? Addiction. That's what I was saying. Like I knew that we were going to see addiction. Hey, Allie. I knew it. It's avoidance, escapism. It's like where after they come in and they create problems, and they create problems because if they're in their addictions and they're running around being with a bunch of different people, well, obviously it's going to create problems. I mean, and what life are they really creating? What stability are they creating? What are they taking their energy to manifest within the world, to birth within the world? Nothing. Nothing. It's like they're coming from the lowest level of consciousness. I don't believe that that's what this person showed you, but that's why I'm saying the masks that they wear is really important to know, because this is a person that is like, I like what I see and I want to own it. Like I'm going to own it, like use it for what I want to use it for. And then trying to be in any type of energy where you're creating, where you're doing, where you're making your life happen. This person doesn't do that. They don't. They create problems. They just create destruction in the wake of their life. So whoever they're around, and here it is, you're gonna not be with them all the time because hey, they want to come in and out. So you'll be creating your life, but when they come into your life, then they'll be in like competition. They won't be give you energy to praise you about what you're doing. They don't want to really know what you're doing because, again, that builds an emotional connection. They don't want to give anything emotionally. This is a sign of the red flag that you know. It's like you don't want to emotionally do anything, that you're deliberately just trying to keep it, for what you want it to. It's and not even if this person can really have feelings for you, but understand if they're not taking their energy to create themselves, then what happens is when everybody else manifests things in their life, they get jealous. And then they think everybody else is doing it like underhandedly, but because that's who they are. So again, they can't be happy is what I'm saying. So that's what it would be like because again, I want you to give your energy to me. It's like, and if you're going to do stuff that's going to draw attention to you, well, I'm insecure, then you're going to leave me, because again, I don't really have a life and I know that I'm not treating you well. So again, this person creates, I think that they have a lot of anxiety, and I think that being around them, like can with the games that they play, that they create a lot of anxiety inside of you because again, you're dealing with someone that has addictions, that doesn't want to build the emotional connection and creates anxiety. But that's also what they're doing now. I feel like there's a part of them that is uh, in a place of, again, their addictions, but they're also like I feel like trying to get themselves out of a bad situation or something that's happening in their life now. So they always tend to wind up in that competition type energy. But it's more of like, again, survival, drama, and that's which creates a lot of anxiety. So partially this person has anxiety because of just what they do regularly, but then they feel inadequate, which creates anxiety. So there's a lot of, like, I believe, overstimulation where this person doesn't really think, right? They feel inadequate, and but understand on a deeper level, they even feel worse than inadequate. I would say that they have spiritual blocks of shame, inadequacy, and other spiritual issues. Like this person would need to like do some serious shadow healing work, because with you, you didn't do anything wrong. It's like they know that you didn't do anything wrong. You were an easy mark, so they thought. It's like they didn't see you like calling their bluff. They didn't see that. They didn't see it. And so that created problems for them, and it made them look at themselves with disgust because of, again, that they know that because you detach from them. See, this person didn't think that you were going to be smart enough or that you were going to be caught up in the passion or in what this person's potential could be, instead of like really who they are. Again, whatever they portrayed to you, like a big important business person, you know, uh, somebody out in the community that's nice, where the rule of thumb is to always to not really pay attention to what a person says, and not really even pay attention to what they do. Pay attention to the people that are around them. See how happy they are. It's to see whether that person's like a real truthful person. And that means anybody, because the people that we, surround ourselves with, you can tell whether people are happy or whether they're not, and you can tell by their energy. If they're around an angry person, someone that makes them paranoid, someone that because I feel like this person doesn't like themselves. And because they don't like themselves, they continually bring about that manifestation that everybody doesn't like them eventually. And they wouldn't, because who wants to be around somebody that doesn't invest their time anywhere, that is a liar? You have to be a liar to live that life, because no one's going to be with, say, oh, you were with somebody last night, or this afternoon, and what do you do for a hobby? Oh, you're an alcoholic. Like, no one wants that. So you have to kind of lie. You have to create the persona in order for you to stay in that low vibration of addiction. Where a person wants the addiction, but no, they want the addiction because they self-loathe themselves. But understand, they do that, and they self-loathe themselves because they know that everybody that they deal with winds up not really liking them. And who would? Because all they do is bring in trouble. They're a troublemaker. And on top of it, they're stubborn. Where this person, when you backed away from them, I think that they thought that you were stubborn. They didn't really pay attention to, like, why you're angry, or why this relationship went from one extreme to another. They think, oh well, because I didn't give you that much. I didn't feed the connection. No, there's a lot more than that. It's the fact that this person continually needed to, like, be in control, but them in control means that you get pushed to being in like a disempowered by being suppressed, by being suppressed and by being oppressed. Like, I'm going to keep you down. And you need to stay in this low vibration in order to be with me, so that I can live this indulgent lifestyle. That's the problem. And then when, so I'm not going to be honest. And then I'm going to create that illusion, and I'm going to have to make all my lies in alignment with that. And I'm okay with that, because then the whole time I'm not really building an authentic bond with you, an emotional bond. I'm not. And when people say, how did that person live two lives? How did that person, they didn't build an emotional bond with either person. They created personas, wore masks, it's manipulation. It's a lot of work. It's exhausting. And you have to understand that's someone that grew up in an environment where they believed that they weren't loved, they were shamed, they were embarrassed, they were, that they have traumas that they haven't healed. So they don't, people don't go out and create the same trauma, like, purposely. It's that their addictions do, the way that they dealt with that original trauma, that stress, escapism. But they're still holding on to the energy. They still manifest it. Their behaviorisms and habits are still there. And that's what Spirit was saying. It's like this person never found their process. So they automatically, like, feel inadequate. And there's a sense of, again, like I pulled out, selfishness again, where this person, like, we knew is selfish, but also they're stuck in a place of grief, but not just because they made this relationship not work out. Now, on a spiritual level, like, if this person could say anything, or if they do want to do something, or but if they really believe something, we'll find out with the spiritual cards. Because understand, all this is what happened on the psychological and on the physical level, what it was like dealing with them. And, but it doesn't say what they're going to do. It doesn't say their feelings. And because that's the whole thing with masks. You'll be like, I thought that this person was this person, and they're not this person. So I also thought that they would do this, but they didn't do this. They did this. Or I had a feeling that they were going to do this, but, so it's like the behaviorisms and habits sometimes don't match up. It's like, that's the whole thing. But there's a spiritual point to the connection, even if it's just a clear negative energy, where spirit's like, I have to create experiences that are going to make you and this person look at your situation, your life, whatever, a certain way in order for you to trigger old memories, wounds, and you may not remember the experience, but the trigger tells you that there was one, and so that you can become aware, so that you can heal. What we are experiencing is a part of a larger collective clearing. That's what I said. Don't feel alone because others are healing too. So it's like we are in spiritual times right now, in order for us to really become more whole. And more whole is to become the energy of unconditional love, which is the energy that we are born with. That's our God-given energy. Before we get prejudiced about what we look like, what the world should look like, through the lenses of our ancestors, our family, and our own wounds. So Spirit's saying it's all about getting back to the clearest energy that you are, which is unconditional love. When you're there, you're not all blocked up, and you're then able to let the energy flow through you. Either you're in alignment with the laws of God, the laws of love, the laws of the universe, the laws of nature. It's all the same. And that's how you know. So Spirit's saying this person brought up a lot of blocks for you. It would have had to have, if they're like, because like they're just selfish. You're dealing with very low energy. And so it would definitely trigger a lot of stuff. And also for this person, because you called their bluff. So again, the mask fell off. So now they're stuck in a heavy emotion. And that emotion is grief, because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's also like, you know, there's pain behind it. It makes a person look into their life. So I close my eyes and imagine you're here with me. It feels so real. I'm beginning to understand this is what it means to be in the 5D with you, where I think that this person might say, I never knew what a spiritual relationship was. I would hear about spiritual relationships like soulmate relationship, but it's like, you don't know it until you actually experienced it. And you experienced it where you're like, oh my God, like I recognize this energy. Or I feel like that person's thinking of me. I can see their face in my head. I can feel their energy. It's like, this is what this person is like. I can feel you still around me. And that energy can't be destroyed. It can't be destroyed. It can't be manipulated. It can only be integrated. It can only be transmuted through integration. And that is through doing something different, through learning, through becoming something different. Again, we have to alchemize it. So this person is, I don't think that they're like, oh, I'm so spiritual. No, I think that they're like, people always talk about soulmate relationships. This is what a soulmate relationship is. This is what it feels like. I'm experiencing that. And I think that that's profound for someone that, doesn't have deep relationships. You know what I'm saying? I feel our energy merging together as if it has a life of its own. We are becoming one again. So it's almost like this person is letting down their guard. They feel like you're letting down their guard because maybe a lot of time has gone by and there's still a lot of emotions, and they can feel that. Again, ESP through the heart and mind, it has transcended many lifetimes. So it's like, just because you didn't talk for a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is, the person can still feel you. It's like, and remember, the ego doesn't surrender fast. The universe has to conspire to make that happen. But it's also the karma that you avoided by releasing this person. You called their bluff. It's like now they're the ones stuck holding the bag. But then after a while, they're like, why am I even playing this game? It's like they come to this realization, like, what am I doing? Why are we doing this? And so that's why I feel like when it's merging together, it's like this person's like, it can still feel you. It still feels strong. Even though we've had arguments, even though like you may like hate me sometimes, or I hate you sometimes because you make it difficult, that you trigger me, but it's like, but it's still there. This person normally doesn't have emotional connections, never mind one that is going to irritate, where, or make this person question. Normally they'd be like, peace out. I don't want to deal with this, you know? I know the universe works in mysterious ways, but sometimes I judge this situation instead of surrender to it. And that's what I was just saying. Like literally, like this person's like, I don't, I need more proof. Then they get into this logical, analytical mind. Like, I don't know why are you bringing this person into my life? It brings up all their traumas around relationships. Because what does a relationship make us do? It makes us compromise. It makes us, have to consider someone else. It makes us, have to be vulnerable. And this person is like, I don't like, avoids that. Were they aware that they avoided that? No. I think that they try to create the facade that they're a good person. They want to be a good person. They don't, didn't realize that they shut that part of themselves down a long time ago, though. And in that, you know, they've been living by their addictions to fill that part of themselves. And spirit is pretty much saying that's got to go. That's gotta go. I'm triggered and old patterns has surfaced and it hurts. And that's what I'm telling you. Like no one volunteers to do this type of healing work. You know what I mean? But this is like this is a karmic made that because you avoided the karmic consequences, well, they're the ones that have to do the work. That's what it is. There's many realities that play it at one time. So you may be like, why are they coming back? This person's like they're in a place of healing. There is an awakening that happening, even if it's not a full-blown awakening, it's still an awakening that this person's like trying to work things out. Like, who are you? Why am I supposed to be with you? I feel like you're part of purpose. Like, not that I'm a big life expert that this person is saying, but they're like, it just feels like you're supposed to be in my life. I feel like I've known you for a long time. Why is there a comfortability? Why are you supposed to be in my life? What's the reason? Why can't I walk away? Why do I care? Why does it get worse the more time that goes away that I don't talk to you? Why am I being triggered? Why can't I just shut this off? Like let me drink myself. Let me smoke myself. Let me not deal with this. Let me escape. And that's why they're not calling you. Because it's like it's that they're in this battle, this internal battle. And that's what has to happen. It's a war on consciousness, not just externally, but because a lot of that's happening individually, collectively right now. That's why you say, why does everyone's relationship look so messed up? It's like, that's why. It's like because we've been taught that relationships are more like codependency, right? It's like, oh, you get married when you're 23 years old. I mean, that was our parents. They got married when they were 23 years old, and what they could afford and what they could do, and people stayed married, but they weren't happy. Then that's what the children saw. So it's what we've been programmed to see. And so many of us are like, I don't like what that looks like because it's not accurate. It's not accurate. That's two people that, are trying to make it work as if they're like one person, where it's supposed to be you have a life, I have a life, and we have a life together. And that is based on trust and the higher levels of consciousness. It's about shadow integration, soul wound integration. It's like, otherwise, we don't want to do it. It's going to feel wrong. And be like, why? I don't understand. So there's also an ignorance of not knowing like how things work spiritually. and why we have relationships. Really, if you're fulfilled in life, you don't need to run around and have 50 different people. And you don't feel inadequate where you need like things outside of you to feel whole. That addictive behavior, and that's what this person like needs healing. That's why I'm saying. But if you attracted this person, well, you need healing too, because you can't manifest someone like this. I'm going through physical, emotional ascension symptoms. I need space to rest from a higher perspective. I'm releasing old energy. So I was saying, like the dark night of the soul, again, to go through an awakening. That's the ascension. And again, they need to release that negative energy. So you're like, so they're not in my life. No, but the feelings that they have for you have activated certain things inside of them. Now, other things were probably going on in this person's life as well when you like detach from them, because you were like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm calling your bluff. You think that I'm not going to walk away? You think that I'm not going to release you? You think that I'm not going to be okay? I'm going to show you that I'm okay, going to be okay. Even though it hurts me, I'm going to show you that it's okay. And that's what this person did not expect. I feel insecure and it's pushing me to grow. And that's what really ascension symptoms really are, right? Releasing that negative energy about self, about who they are, and that happens from our inner child wounds, right? We grow up in certain environments. So right now, this is what's happening. It's like when we look at the hidden truth, I feel like this person, anytime somebody is awakened by somebody else to like heal, there is going to be a love. There is a soul recognition. We wouldn't stick around long enough. It wouldn't be profound. It has to be profound for the person to like to really be shook at the core of like what's happening, like like um like why do I want to change, and what makes me change, right? It's like people don't want to change. They want to be comfortable, and people can be uncomfortably comfortable. And that's what we see here. This person's not comfortable underneath it all. They've learned to be comfortable through their addictions, through creating false balance, because we feel imbalanced when we don't feel good about ourselves. There's a lack of energy. There's a root chakra imbalance, and the adrenals are right there. So again, every time this person is called to do something where they would need to show confidence, well, that would create a lot of internal conflict. This person can't go around being like, I'm nervous, I'm nervous, I'm nervous, but they're not doing anything except for suppressing their emotions through their addictions. And so you're dealing with someone that's imbalanced, and so you're going to see like imbalanced within the way that they think, and even emotional up and downs. Sometimes treating you nice, sometimes treating you not nice. But that's not the hidden truth of what they really feel about you and what they really want. These are all like almost like, think about like almost like a coding, a coding, but like because they went through an experience, they form the habit and behaviorism. So it's like a piece of armor, think of, but it's not who they are. They think it's who they are. That's the thing, where the ego mind is not going to release that. It's not going to say, oh, well, that's not, you know, what is. It's going to say, no, that's who we are. And that's part of our survival mechanism. And we're right. It becomes part of the ego. So remember, the ego is self. And really, that's separate from the higher self, which is of God, which is coming from love. One's coming from fear, one's coming from love. What needs to be, fear needs to be integrated. And so this person wouldn't volunteer, obviously, to like, oh, let me do the healing. No, they don't want to do it. It's uncomfortable. It's triggering. It's bringing up a lot of shit from the past. Yeah, because you can live in karmic cycles that keep you stuck in karmic loops where it's a lot of karma. It's a lot of like karmic debt. And if, especially if, you continue to create that same experience, you got out of one relationship, you get into another relationship, you do the same thing. You get out of one relationship, it looks like the same thing. It's like it's a karmic loop where this person has shut their heart off and said things need to be controlled. And so I'm going to control them. And this is why you're dealing with this type of version from themselves. But again, the universe will still make life happen, still changes people. Even if you want to stay, in one place forever, you can't. You can't create stability by like through outside things. You have to become stable in yourself, and that only comes from becoming yourself. Where this person is walking around with those wounds pretending that that armor is themselves. It's not. I want you. There's going to be passion. This person, again, they're not on the highest level of consciousness, so spirit has to utilize something. I'm really attracted to you. That's the fire element. It's like passion helps transmute. It was my fault, but I blamed you. This person is looking at their behavior. My life is not as together as it seems. Like, well, guess what, honey? Their life isn't anything like what it seems, because it's not what they said that it was. So that's why I'm saying this person is doing the deep dive inside of themselves and saying, well, why did I do what I did? It's like, because listen, it's not going to be that easy to get you back. It's not going to be that easy to fix their life, and that they're tired of this life, of creating this life. Because you get tired. You came closer than anyone. So again, this person realizes it's like I feel like they feel like a lot of time has gone by. I don't react when people mention you. So again, still in this lower consciousness of, I don't want to really share with anyone, because guess what? If you don't like me, well, then that shows vulnerability. And, I don't want to have people think that I went back to you and you rejected me, even if I took too long to come back. So again, still in the ego, still that part of themselves. I love you though. And it's like, so what you see is a lot of paradoxical energy, which is, I love you, but I'm going to fight my ego. My ego is going to say, I don't really, I don't really want to let you in that close, because my life isn't what it seems. So my life isn't that. So it's, once you actually see what my life is, you're not going to like me anymore. It's like, you're not going to want that anymore. I lost myself for a little while, which again, this person drinks. They have or it has addictive behavior of some sort. So of course they lose a lot of time. They lose a lot of, and this is what they like. They don't like to be accountable. That's what it would actually be like if you were in a regular relationship with this person. I wish I could share my good news with you. It's pushing them to grow, but there's a sense of, well, if I come back to you, I would want to come back and be a changed person. I would want to, they're not going to go to someone that they feel is going to reject them. Understand that. It's like, this person does not have a high self-esteem. We will be together again. So again, this person's all over the map. So I feel like certain days, I feel we'll be together again. And other times I had to let you go because it wasn't the right time. And maybe you're not going to want me back. So there's a sense of that, which is going to be their ego. What we see, too much ego in here. And that's why they're all over the place. If they would just intuitively, get to a place where their ego wasn't, they could see, well, all I really need to do is apologize and talk, or to work through this. But this person doesn't. they tend to avoid issues. And that's why, like I said, I think that their feelings are so deep, but it makes them think about you. And so inevitably they love you and they want you. And I think that their higher self knows eventually I'm going to wind up coming back. However, I'm not really ready to do that now. And I'm not ready to do that now because I'm too full of fear. But eventually, if this is real love, they won't be able to stay away. It's like, but that's what the ego death is. And ego death is like, that the person finally surrenders and they are ascending, they are clearing negative energy. But remember, if that's the way that they grew up and that's the way that they are, well, they're not just going to change tomorrow. But they do, like I said, here it is again. I long for your kisses and your touch, and there are subconscious fears that are affecting the ability to manifest and to bring in love and really be with each other right now. And that's true. This person knows it. It's like, and that's, they may not be saying, oh, I have spiritual blocks that need to be healed and that's why I'm not with you right now. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is, my life looks fucked up. If you come into my life right now, you're not going to like what you see. You're not going to like what you see. And I still don't know how to deal with stress. And I still feel inadequate. And I still feel all these other things. But inevitably, it brings this person to a place of like looking at their shit, which is a first sign to it, so that they can take responsibility. This person does think that, that you're beautiful inside and out. There's a strong soul's connection here is in their mind, but it's more or less like that passion and the desire to want to be with you, but not being able to be with you because you're holding the standard. You're like, I'm not coming anywhere towards you until like you do. This person's forced then, because what they're seeing is, well, I'm trying to like logic it and do everything and strategize, and nothing that I'm doing is working. I want to talk to you, but I'm not sure I'm ready to share everything and give you the answers that you deserve. Like I said, this person like is still fighting it. It's like, but there is a desire, which is why they were like, we're coming into union. Like, it's like, because if it was a month or two ago, maybe 3 months ago, this person like, or when it first happened, the argument or separation, this person would be like, you're never coming back into my life. I don't care. And I think that you would have been like that too. But the fact that they can still, that they feel like, well, I could still get mad, but would actually wind up uh, still having feelings. I still feel your energy. So that's very profound for the people that grew up in an environment where, you know, love wasn't unconditional, it was conditional. And so, there's a lot of abandonment there. And so what they're discovering is real love. There, you can't abandon it. You can't destroy it. That it just is. Though they question it, they fighting it. There's an internal war going on, but it doesn't change the way that they feel. And that's you know what they're seeing. We are one. Don't let fear get in the way of this truth. And that's what this person is saying. So it's like very like healing. It's a very healing style connection. It's one that is helping this person clear those really like big wounds. But you have to say, okay, so what is it doing for me? Because except for driving me crazy. because because you know they're not doing right by me. Well, they would awaken certain wounds that you have, or gifts. Sometimes it's gifts where like you uncover a gift because you wind up putting your time and your energy into yourself, or into another way that makes a way where there isn't a way. Hey, novella. So again, anchor is the first inner child wound. Now I look at the inner child cards because those wounds will tell us what were the karmic loops that continued to play out, or the karmic contracts that continue to play out within your life. It's like, because it's like a theme. It's like, here we go again. This is the same thing. So, I know that what's going to happen already because this is what always happens. Where Spirit's saying, because we make that happen. So, anchor is one. And now you may not obviously be aware, but when you go through a traumatic experience, it makes an imprint on your subconscious mind. And so it's that imprint that it determines your energy vibration. If you have no imprint, you're a clear conduit for spirit to work through. Spirit is known as prana. It's also known as it's spirit, oxygen, it's prana, but it's the fact that it's chi is the energy, it's life force. So we're able to manifest and direct our energy when we're clear. And so we have to be, again, grounded and also feel supported. So there has always been a lack of support. There's always been, and because there has been, you are someone that's very resilient. So you tend to pick people to you that pretend to be strong, but not really are strong. They see your strength. They see your softness, but they see your strength. Someone that's strong. You've always been able to cleanse yourself, clear yourself. And you also, to me, have a very high vibration. You're connected to source. So you probably get a lot of intuitive insights. You get a lot of internal guidance, like whether that's a feeling, it's an energetic thing, but it's a way that you're able to easily cleanse yourself, because you can go through an experience that is like imbalanced, but because you're able to, connect to the higher self, well, you always know how to get out of it. And that's what I'm talking about, strength. And that's why people see you as resilient. So again, what this person actually saw is exactly these gifts. It's again, like, doesn't matter what they do, you're resilient. It doesn't matter. They can put any obstacle in. That's not going to stop you from keep on going. You know how to cleanse yourself, and you know how to cleanse yourself because you have a strong connection to source. But that you're actually your own anchor. Even though you didn't have an anchor growing up, you always need to reparent yourself with the inner child wounds that we have. And that's by embodying that consciousness. It was frustrating not having support. It was frustrating also, like, because you had an unrealistic expectation of how fast you were supposed to get things when there's no support and you're trying to figure things out on your own. You tend to think that, we're able to manifest like that, and it doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of all your energy, all your time, all your energy, all your emotion, like, to pour into something to actually have something manifest. It's how much love you're putting into something. And so giving anything to that jerk, well, it's again, it would have depleted you. And that, but they saw all that you could give, and they were more than willing to say, I want that. I just don't want to give what it would actually take to get that, which is frustrating. It's like being around people that are one-sided. That's the energy there. Disassociated. So there was trauma, and it was like more emotional, psychological. So you remember, but you don't remember. It was a way that when a child like is getting like shamed, or they're getting like, it could be shame, guilted, any lower emotion, they can't run away and they can't fight, unfortunately. So they check out. They disassociate because it's not like they're not afraid. They're afraid. Their parent is screaming at them, shaming them. Like, it's so, what do they do? They check out, they go into their head. So disassociation, but the good thing about disassociation is that you're able to be really psychic, is because it's, again, you don't feel one way or the other about it. So you're able to, like, get to, like, that that energy, know that energy, that psychic energy, whether it's the gut, whether it's your own clairsentience, so you have that strength because of that trauma. And I also feel like that's why this person thought, well, they knew that you had it rough, so they thought, well, you're gonna, they still assumed you were wounded. They will still assume that you were wounded. They deal with people that are wounded normally. And one more, which is guidance, which is like there wasn't any guidance, but Spirit saying you didn't need it because, again, the guidance comes inside of you, that you don't need anything outside of you to manifest. So you might have felt like, again, I do need, where Spirit says, no, you don't need anything outside of you. You have to, again, um, you had to integrate the spiritual lesson, and that was really become your own anchor. You are your own guidance system. You always had, so your own anchor is putting the time and energy towards something that you want to grow, something that's gonna, like, help you create yourself. That's the anchor. It's not a person. It's always to something that you love, something that you're passionate about, something that interests you, something that you love to do. And Spirit's saying it, and I feel like you do that. And that's why there's cleansing. That's really how you cleanse yourself. Because when you're in this high vibration of becoming love by doing what you love, and if it's not a job, you still do enough of what you love to connect you to other people that emotionally are helping you stay at a high vibration. So that's why there's clearing. That's the clearing is the emotional energy, the psychological energy. So even if you weren't getting that support when you were growing up, you knew how to get it elsewhere. So that, and so you still know how to get it elsewhere, and but now even more so from a healthier way, by becoming yourself, not by relying on anyone else. And so I feel like you gave too much time to this person, maybe from your own wounds. You wanted to give to the person what you felt like you never had. And that was actually too much for this person. So what Spirit's saying, it's like this was more about, like, helping you clear those old programs, like everyone's clearing right now, like those programs that are keeping you stuck in a place of limitation, one that makes you feel, again, that you're not worthy, that you needed to do that. You needed to become more of yourself, and you needed to cleanse the energy that was that you were still holding on to. Because when we're disassociated, it doesn't mean that we're still not at that consciousness. We just don't have a feeling about it one way or the other. But that energy is going to be what dictates what comes into our life. And if we would disassociate it, it's because there was trauma. And those parts of where there's trauma, we're also going to know that they're not developed into anything, because you can't have developed yourself and been in a place of survival at the same time. It's impossible. I mean, you'll get skills, like your intuition will be enhanced, but you won't, like, have grounded anything. You haven't created any support for yourself. And really, that's what the anchor is. The anchor is creating support for yourself, creating grounding for yourself. So, like, and listening to the guidance from the higher self, which is, maybe you, again, didn't have mother and father to do it, but Spirit says, I work through you. So I'm always giving you guidance. So there's that father, and then there's Father up in heaven that works through you, that works through the universe, and that when you are, being your own anchor, you do cleanse yourself. You do actually heal disassociation, and life is a lot less frustrating because you're coming from your true self. But at the same time, you have integrated the energy of resilience from where you grew up in. So, which is a skill that you will be utilizing throughout life. So, spirit is like, this relationship wasn't about getting back together again. This relation, or ever getting together, because they're not on your vibration. It was more or less to me like spirit saying, hey, you're still holding on to this energy, and that's going to prevent you from manifesting. Regardless, you can, if you want this person back, you can have this person back, but you're not going to be able to even have that person back until you clear these programs. And that's what spirit was saying. I brought you into this person's life, and vice versa, to awaken those wounds so that you can clear them. My thing is, a lot of times when you clear them, you're not going to want to be with this person a lot of times because you're not the same person. However, this person thinks that they're going to like come back one day. They're like, one day I'm going to come back, one day. But whether it's again to tomorrow, it's not tomorrow. They need to heal. And I feel like for you, you're on your healing journey. So, I mean, if we're talking about coming back in the next like 2, 3 months, no, like this person needs to heal. I would at least give them like 6 months, and who knows where you'll be in 6 months. And spirit leaves it off with divine light. Know that you are an expression of love and shine like the sun. Your inner light is your strength and your treasure. Your intuition guides you to discover the wonders and goodness of who you are. And that's what really Spirit's saying. It's not about being with anyone right now. It's about, discovering your light, not just letting your intuition guide you. Like I said, that's the higher self. The higher self, when you're living your bliss, doing what you love, remember, you're an expression of love by becoming love, by doing what you love, because that's going to connect you to other people that emotionally fulfill you. This person was never on a high enough vibration. They were never on a high enough vibration. You just didn't see it because you weren't like embodying the energy of unconditional love, where spirit's saying, I need you to do more of that so that you move away from that person, and so that you become more balanced within yourself, so that you can actually recognize, hey, you're not giving me anything. There's just peanuts here. It's just a little, like, you're giving me breadcrumbs. This person thought that they could get away with it because you didn't recognize it, and they knew that you didn't recognize it. You were just happy to have them in your life. So they're like, oh, but they want a low vibration, so they didn't appreciate it. Now they appreciate it because you called their bluff. Now they see it, but they're saying, oh, well, now I have to look underneath the sheet. Like, right, when Scooby-Doo, who's underneath there? Oh, it's like, it's themselves, like they're the ones that sabotage themselves. They're the villain in their own story, that they have to heal. They have to become themselves. And you're already in that energy, is what spirit says. So continue to do that again, because eventually the universe will bring you people and situations that are in alignment with who you are today, not the wounds of your past. They'll bring people to you that are like-minded. It'll bring people to you that you resonate with, that feels like a soul family, not because it's held together with past traumas. Like, oh, like I went through this experience before. Yay. No, that's not the familiarity that we want to, make our future look like. We want to have a familiarity where it's a soul relationship, but where the person really like is more like a soul partner. They're coming in and literally they're not, you learn karmic lessons, but not like that. That person is at a low vibration. Yeah, they'll heal themselves eventually, but I think by the time that they do, like I said, you won't be with them. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll be on again later. And I just been operated on for brain, yeah, me on a date. I thought, oh yeah, I see a lot of times, but I think that the key is to know that if you're like trying to heal from something, if you're trying to um like do something, manifest something, a lot of times like we don't have that person come into our lives then. It's like we wind up like having we want someone to come into our lives then. And that's especially if we didn't have anyone in our lives then. And that's what I think happened with you, Siska. It's like you're like, well, the universe, because I really need that support and I don't have that support. And that's when the devil comes, because there's a real desire and want. There should be somebody here, where really spirit's like, no. It's like sometimes you need to like work through things by yourself, because in the quiet, you're going to connect to the higher self. And that higher self is that universal energy, that is that supernatural energy, which we know as God. And it's going to protect you, it's going to guide you, it's going to heal you, it's going to, reset you. And if someone's right there, then you're not going to be able to tap into your intuition. You're going to take in that person's feelings and emotions and considerations instead of focusing on yourself. So I feel like that was about um, yourself, and also getting a brain like tumor, like surgery, anything with the brain. It's to know that at that time you were getting your crown chakra unblocked. And so, it's about that. You're welcome. I like about, clearing ourselves. And so you can't open up your third eye or really your crown chakra unless you're in your body and you're, living your bliss. Remember, doing what you love, becoming the expression of love. Then what happens is you're then co-creating with the universe, because you're seeing exactly what you need, what's going to help you. So it's like not like all of a sudden everyone that you see is a brain surgeon, but what you'd see is, oh, I was on the subway and they were advertising like this drink, protein drink, and then I saw the commercial for it, and then I saw this, and it sparked a commercial. Oh, look, it's good for your brain health. Oh, see, that's the universe supporting me. It's like none of that happens when you're like in the relationship, because it's about the relationship, where spirit's saying, right now you are in a place of healing. And so it's about the strongest relationship that you should have is with yourself, that higher self. That's what's going to get you through. That's what's going to give you trust. That's what's going to make you strong within yourself, that it won't matter what happens in the outside world. You'll be able to go with the flow of life, because we can't control anything in our life. We have to just control ourselves. And that's what our parents didn't realize. Our parents, like, I mean, a lot of our parents, I'm not saying everybody's parents, but the majority, they were not taught that. They were taught, oh my God, like they were at the mercy of, their situations, where we actually can metamorphose and shapeshift our situations all the time. It's like, but we're not taught that. When what happens is we become conditioned by the environment that we're in. And so that's why it's so important to not lose your way from the higher self, that God part of self. And we all have that part of self. And when we're in that part of self, we're vibing at the highest vibration. That's the only way you're going to be able to transcend the limitations of your mind. That's what transpersonal psychology really is. It's about integrating those wounded parts of self. And in this story, I love it because this person is like, you know what? I like you avoided all that karmic consequences. You know, this person thought for sure that you were going to play right into their hands, that, you know, they were going to be able to have their cake and eat it too. And what they saw is, like you called their bluff. And now they're the ones that feel bad. They're the ones that are looking at themselves. And so it's almost like the universe tricked them. You know, that and it's funny how, you know, you didn't really even know that that was what was happening. You just got tired and finally released yourself. And but when you love yourself and choose yourself, you always avoid the negative karmic consequences. It's the fact that people don't listen and they to themselves, and they give second and third and fourth chances and try and fix it, and instead of putting the energy into self, which Spirit said you had to do that to fully integrate the spiritual lesson. All right, I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. If anyone has any questions, anyone want to know anything, now is the time. I'll give it a minute, and I'll be on again later. I just don't know what time later. I need to take an allergy pill. I'm so congested because this weather goes from like 80 degrees to like 60 degrees to like 90 degrees. It's all over the place. All right, I'm out. Bye. Oh. Before I let you go, I gotta like remind you guys, if anyone's into trauma healing, definitely fill out the link. Thank you so much. I'm grateful that you're here, and everyone's here. But again, if anyone's in need of shadow healing, I've been working on a project for a really long time. I'm really excited about it. And, you know, my big unveiling is going to be soon. So if you are interested, definitely fill out the link in the description box so that you'll get notified. I don't take a lot of people every time that I do this because you can't heal a lot of people at one time. It's like not, you have to give enough individual time so to get the max um, benefit from this. But I don't want to tell you too much because again, it's a surprise. It's a big unveiling. But if you're someone that's in need of healing the effects of trauma, psychological trauma, emotional trauma, definitely go and fill out the waitlist link. I'll also try and put it in. Well, I won't be able to put it in the live because once the live stream chat, once it closes, but it'll be in the description box. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you again for sharing your energy with me. Bye.